We talk all the time about the portability of the AgriPro trap. We also talk about customized trailers that we've built to get into these tight spots. So one of the beauties of the Tacoma, not big on a gas burner, prefer our diesels, but eased in here today with the Tacoma. Wasn't sure if we were going to be able to get down in here. If not, then we were going to bring our gator in. We got a whole system for that. But with our 5x8 loaded down with a full-blown single gate AgriPro, we were able to bring it down in here, and you can see we're down here in the woods. This has been recently burned, so we got a lot of the underbrush gone. Straight down that way is our swamp. We've had a camera down there monitoring a lot of hogs. We don't want to put that trap down there in their bedroom because that might be a little bit of an inconvenience for them, and they probably won't appreciate it, and they won't feel the love that we're trying to give them. Our crop field is that direction. So we are way down here catching them on the way because we know that's how they travel. So that's part of the strategy of trap placement. Is this convenient? Excuse me, not absolutely. This is not convenient for us as trappers. It was difficult to get down here. We had to do a lot of trimming, even to get the Tacoma down in here. But it ain't about our convenience. It's about putting them into that 33-foot diameter trap. Size matters, and flipping the switch intelligently and taking them hogs out of the equation. So there you go. It's pretty neat the way we got the trailer set up. We've got a basket for everything we need, connecting rods, feeder poles, everything. I mean, that is a one-stop shop, ready to go trap. So we're gonna go ahead and put it up today. You're like, well, wait a second, you need to kind of acclimate them to the trap. That's true, we do. What we're gonna do is go ahead and put it up. We're gonna bust out a bunch of different panels, let it breathe, let it breathe. We're gonna bait through our gate, never through an open panel, and let it rock. And that's kind of the way we're gonna do it. Well, as you can see, we've got the whole trap up, only about 30 minutes. We're doing a lot of finishing touches now, getting the gate situated. Still got to mount the big pole, but want to go ahead and shoot a quick video because we're running out of daylight. The beauty of the very light trailer is the way we came in here, we weren't going to get turned around, so we had to disconnect the trailer and we can just move it around by hand. Even with the full AgriPro on, it's balanced evenly and we can move it by hand. If we're traveling, we'll throw a couple corn bags on front to give it some tongue weight. So I kind of show you how we've designed the trap. We like an oval design. We don't like a round trap. We like our feeder offset so that camera up there at 12 o'clock gets a good view of 6 o'clock. We carry everything that we need to do all this in all the trucks. So it's a lot of expense with all the equipment, not just in one truck, but in 3 trucks. So hang on. So there you go. You kind of get the design. We haven't set the feeder yet. What we're going to do first is go ahead and mount the camera up there, and then we're going to start doing camera angle to the gate, and then we'll modify left or right for the feeder. We leave junk in here. We don't care. Tree limbs, trees, don't matter. And then out here, we're going to throw up an ice camera that's going to shoot back on this. Once the system is completely built, then we will pull out a 12 o'clock panel, which is be up there by the camera. We'll pull out a 9 o'clock and a 3 o'clock. So I actually have 4 entry points. And then we're gonna pour a line of corn through the gate. As they get accustomed to it, there is a system in our heads. May not make much sense to anybody else, but it does to us, how we start closing these panel in, and ultimately this is it. Now, we are not reacting to hogs. We just know that there's hogs over there, and we're putting a system in play for them. So we know what we're doing today is going to spook, scatter, freak them out. Don't care. We're not trying to trap hogs this week, next week. We're kind of thinking about maybe trapping hogs a month from now. Goal is as they start to get used to it, we'll start to button it up and keep that corn coming. So talking kind of fast because we're running out of daylight, and it's kind of tricky to get out of here because we really need the gator today. We stretched it bringing the Tacoma in here. So hopefully that video kind of gives you an idea, kind of how we do it. Not saying we got it figured out, but we do trap hogs. So maybe we do have like little bitty tiny things figured out. Well, I wasn't going to do any video just because it was getting dark. And then I realized that the Tacoma has a big headlamp on top of his head called a Go Light. So, man, you forget it's up there. So still wearing my headlamp, but we fired up the Go Light and had to take a break for a big ass salad, and we just dropped the gate about 50 miles from here. So we got to put it in the wind. she's up, baited through the gate, never bait through an open panel. And then we opened up 3 sides of her at 12, 9, and 3. So she's good to go. So again, hope the video helps, gives you an idea. And one of the advantages of hitting your head a lot is you have an excuse for forgetting like things like a go light. So I have hit my head once or twice, or maybe I'm just not that smart. But big advantage out here tonight. We're not worried about leaving scent. We're not worried about noise. We're not worried about anything. This is a month from now, we might be trapping hogs in this puppy. This is just getting it on the ground. So y'all have a good night. We got to go. All right, so we have fast forwarded several weeks. We're at the same trap, same build, same everything. One thing that we didn't include in that video that evening, we were kind of rushed, was about 100 yards from here, we'd already started a bait site, and we called it a bait and switch. So you get them kind of coming to something, and then 100 yards away or 200 yards away or whatever, all of a sudden, another feeder shows up, but it's got a little bit of steel around it with some open panels. It does work most of the time. So we had a sow that had been using that little bait site, and it was literally just, Jaeger Pro ice camera in a tree, corn on the ground, nothing fancy. She was good with that. She worked her way over here, 100 yards. Line of sight, using Onyx Hunt, not an advertisement, not an endorsement. They don't even know who we are. And we're like, hey, that's 100 yards. Okay, great. So she came in, she started feeding. She was pretty good. We started plugging panels in. We have a system that we do that, and we talked about what the system is, and it makes sense to us, but maybe to nobody else. We also use rain in our favor. So if we know that a rain shower is coming through, a lot of little rain showers in the south this time of year in the summer, we're like, hey, let's run up there real quick, buzz down there, throw up a panel, boom. So we got the trap completely built. She adjusted to it. She kept coming in. Everything was fine. But then a whole nother group showed up 100 yards away at the bait site. There was nothing left. There was no corn. And I'll try to clip in some pictures. I mean, it was actually hilarious. I mean, they would just lay down and just rack out there, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We think that she may have been troubled by that larger group, pretty decent sized hogs. Now keep in mind, the camera, all of our cameras in the big pole right here are running at least 11 feet. When we're running a bait site like that where it's not off a big pole, it's usually up here somewhere. So it might be 7 feet, 8 feet. A couple feet make a big difference on the size of a hog. And so when you're doing hog identification, if you want to run a proper bait site, run a big pole. You want all the hog angles to look the same when you transfer from a bait site to a trap. But in that case, it was just stick it in the tree, put the camera up, throw some corn on the ground, let it rip. So we're back here today because she has literally disappeared. Her and the piglets have disappeared. A few days ago, back at the dead bait site, part of our group showed up. And they're just like going, hey, where's this corn at? So what we've done today is we've moved the bait site basically back this way some. And it might be 75 yards, but it's directly below the trap, not north of the trap. What we've also done is added an attractant inside the feeder. And we've got an attractant that we're experimenting with just ourselves personally. It's not, nobody's designed it, nobody's made it. We're not testing it or nothing. It's just like our own concoction. That's a very clinical term. We're using that same attractant down there where we stuck a camera in a tree, poured a bag of corn on the ground, and then we made a Hansel and Gretel trail from here to there. So that smell is here, that smell is down there, and we've got a trail. It seems kind of crazy. I mean, dogs have extremely good noses, better than hog, but hogs have a really, really good sense of smell. But sometimes they're just odd like that, to where it's like they'll go by, 50 yards up this way, and like, I don't know, the wind's just not right for them, and they can't smell, the corn or whatever. So kind of buzz you around, really not much else to show except the trap just looks a little different in the daylight than when we were here last time with the go light. But it kind of shows you how we're piecing this together. You would never want to go, hey, abandoned ship, something went wrong. We have no idea why she disappeared. Somebody could have ran dogs through here. We don't think so, but something changed. We still know we have hogs in the area. And at the end of the day, it's not like we're trying to trap hogs right now. We're trying to set up a semi-permanent trap that's going to live here on this part of the property and do what it's supposed to do, which is keep an eye on things and trap hogs. So let me buzz you around. So standard 12-panel Jager Pro, single gate, 3-leg on-time feeder, big pole, ice camera on the outside. So our bait site was about 100 yards that way. And so now it's straight down that way in those woods. And like I said, we've made a little Hansel and Gretel trail. And we'll give you some quick footage of that. And then we need to get out of here. We've got rain coming in, so that's why we're here. We want our scent to get washed away. Went ahead and did all of our trap maintenance. Not really due for maintenance. The main goal today was just to move the bait site. But since we're here, do maintenance so we don't have to come back here for 30 days and put more scent out. Hang on. So we're down here at our little bait site for the bait and switch. About 100 yards that way, we put a camera 4 or 5 months ago. Really rough part of the property. It's not burned because it's too wet, so it's a hog haven. 20 years ago, I'd have drug a trap down in there. I would have, and that's what we used to do. It doesn't work. It's too intrusive. It's too much pressure on them. You've got to pick a happy ground. A lazy hog trapper, sorry if I offended anybody, but it's the truth. A lazy hog trapper is going to be way, way, way up that way and put it in a field where there's more food sources. So we're just trying to get somewhere in the middle. If I thought it would work, I'd drag it down there. Nothing I love more than taking the fight to a hog, but it'll spook them. Just what I'm doing today is going to mess them up. So this is kind of like, I know they're down there. They're going to find this and then just kind of work their way literally 100 yards that way. And so, yeah, we could put the trap here, but I think it would be a huge mistake from our past experience. So basically what you've got right there, you're just pouring some corn on the ground. Now, the problem on this property, a lot of deer. The deer are going to tear it up, but it's okay. The hogs will find it. Okay, right up there, ice camera on the tree. Now, anytime you put a camera on a tree, it says, please, squirrels, come chew the living crap out of everything on that camera. That's why we don't use trees. I don't think any of our traps have, meaning trees with cameras attached to it. We use a big pole. It doesn't mean they won't climb a big pole, but it's just very tempting for them. So these are just temporary situations. If it was going to be more of a permanent situation, then we would go ahead and get rid of all the wiring, go with an ammo can, flex conduit, our own system for protecting the wires. For the most part, they don't mess with the cameras. They will chew on some of the antennas. I think they probably have like I don't know, they're nut flavored or something, I'm not sure. Occasionally you'll have one pop the latch open on the camera. So we do have 2 cameras that are permanently, semi-permanently in a swamp. So we run a zip tie through this little locking mechanism right here. And basically that just keeps them from doing this right here. They'll pop that latch open. Your camera will still work, but you'll start getting pictures, like crazy junk. Like you'll be like, wow, is the camera moving around? And you don't want that. So it's really hard to hold a camera and do that at the same time. I'm not that talented, but I guarantee a squirrel could. So hope that makes sense to y'all. It's a bait and switch. We know that hogs are going in there. They have gone in there and they're comfortable. We're not going to change anything up at this point, meaning open some panels. We already went through that process. The process now is, hey, look, you're not that far from more food. This will dry up. They'll follow our Hansel and Gretel. I have no idea who Hansel and Gretel are, but they'll follow the Hansel and Gretel trail up. Same attractant is in this, and every time that feeder blows, meaning spins twice a day, when we spin, those air particles will go and just kind of migrate through the woods. So I think that's gonna wrap it up. We got to get out here for the rain hits, and I am sweating like Wyatt in church, and that's that. Y'all have a great day. So we're back here at our little makeshift bait site. As you can see, hogs have clearly just destroyed the corn. We've got a boar sow with 2 piglets that we've seen before on another camera, and 3 adult hogs coming in so far. So 4-wheeler's running. We're literally going to take the camera. We're going to move about 50 yards up the hill. We will literally be 50 yards below the trap. And it's kind of hard for hogs. They're the fourth smartest creature in the world, but sometimes, man, you got to slap them upside the head with a corn. A little bit of a comfort zone down here, but we're going to make a little Hansel and Gretel trail, and we're moving the camera and the bait site 50 yards up, 50 yards behind the trap. See what they do then. We've got a rain coming in, so that's what we want for the human scent. We're going to leave the 4-wheeler running. They've gotten used to that sound. You know, that might be the farmer working, the landowner working, and then we're going to put a wiggle in it and get out of here. So hang on. All right. So as you can tell, I did not read the radar correctly. We are getting rained on. I thought we had a little bit more time. Long ride back to the truck on the 4-wheeler, so I'll be soaked. But no worries, I'm not going to melt. I'll probably just sour like corn. So there it is. Bait site moved. Hansel and Gretel trail, you can see kind of going down there to 50 yards down there is where the old site's at. 50 yards that way is the trap. We don't think they're worried about the trap shy, because they haven't been near it. Outside cameras aren't picking up anything. It's just literally sometimes they can't find it. Other hogs have been in the trap, and that's when we went ahead and buttoned it all up. But now we've got like a lag here. So we did find out that over there's been some land surveying going on, so that may have affected our movement. So with that being said, we're out. So we're here at a bait site on this 1,200 acre tract. It's part of this trap build that we've been doing about 1,000 yards that way. We put up a new YagerPro trap. If you've been following that little video on that, finally got hogs going to it, closed up the panels, doing a lot of bait and switch, as we call it. So over there, you know, we had the system up. We put up a, camera on a tree 120 yards away. They're hitting that. They're not really finding the trap, and they're just odd like that, where, they got a good nose, but sometimes they just don't find it. It's also about trap placement. It's what's comfortable for them. Is it in their travel corridors? Is the way they move throughout the property. Move the camera 100 yards, then ultimately move the camera 50 yards. And at 50 yards, we just cut the corn off. We quit pouring corn on the ground. Next thing you know, they're in the trap. They're good with it. We've got a sow and 2 piglets that are part of a group of 7 adults. And then there's this sow and 2 piglets that sometimes joins the party. She will come 1,000 yards this way and hit this bait site feeder. It's just something about where that trap is at. It's not really working for them. They've got a good swamp down there. So, it's July. It's kind of hot. We don't know. 1,000 yards that way is another YagerPro trap. She's never been to it, and she evidently doesn't go to that side of the property. So we just took out 2 boar hogs there a couple nights ago that have been using it. So what we're doing here today at this bait site is we're literally just turning the feeder off. Just shut it off. Anytime you have a bait site close to a trap site, you may run into the problem where they're bouncing back and forth. But she is more comfortable. And I don't think in the sense that she's more comfortable where she feels safer here than she does at the trap. This just seems to be in her route. And we need her to be using that trap. We really do. We need that hog scent in that trap. Get in there and do your thing. So what we did here today is we did our routine maintenance, shut the feeder down. We left a lot of scent here today. Be imaginative about how you can leave a lot of scent. And it'll be interesting that normally she comes every night, usually around 12, 1 o'clock. It'll be interesting if she even comes today, this evening, whether it be because I buzzed up here on the 4-wheeler or I left a lot of human scent. Typically we're trying not to leave scent, but again. So when you have a bait site, again, a bait site close to a trap site, and what's the definition of close? 400 yards, 1,000 yards, a quarter mile? I mean, we've tracked hogs 1 mile in one night, going from one trap to another trap, or from one feeder to another trap. I mean, they can cover some ground. So when you have that problem, kill the food source, because we need her in that trap. not necessarily to trap her at this point, just so the 7 other adult hogs that are kind of using it, they all kind of gravitate towards it. And what's odd is that the 7 adult hogs have never been here. But that sow knows this is here, and she keeps coming back. And so when you're running deer feeders on your property, these hogs from one year to the next or the next season, they don't forget that food source. They know it's out here. They're going to routinely hit it, and they need to know that it's not an option. And I mean, she'll come here at night. The deer normally hammer this thing. This feeder spins at 2, it spins at 4 o'clock. The deer hammer this, like 7 does will wrap around this thing and just dive in here and eat. And she will come here and spend 2 or 3 hours, you know, getting, you know, 1 kernel of corn, seriously. And I'm like, really? Can you just move on? So we shutting her down tonight, and let's see what she does. And we're going to continue this saga until we eventually flip the switch on that new trap over there. But right now I can tell you that we're probably going to have to move that trap. That trap is in the wrong location for a semi-permanent trap. And that's part of what we do, is move the pieces around till we figure out where it is. That trap over there, we've had it in other videos, over 100 hogs since the end of January. In the same trap, same location, never moved. It's not so much about the blood, it's not so much about the feces, the poop, all the above. It's not about that. It is about human scent. And doing our maintenance, hottest time of the day. You know, if we've got to go in and heavy bait, we do it when we know there's a rainstorm coming. It's about our smell. And you can wear rubber boots, rubber gloves, you can do everything you want. We just don't think that really, there's not much that helps. So enough lip flapping. Give you a little buzz of what we got here. Just literally a big pole and a 3-leg on-time feeder. A lot of hardware cloth on this one because it used to get hit hard with coons, so we need to keep their little paws out of it. Why are we running a big pole on a bait site? Because if this was to ever turn, there used to be a trap here years ago, but we pulled it. We found a better location. We want to see hogs from the high vantage point, and it's the same vantage point when we move to a trap. So it's all about hog identification. So if we're looking up there, that's the same view that that trap over there has. If we were down on the ground, we might go, that may not be our sow, that could be a different sow, because the lower that camera is, the bigger the hog looks. Get it up there, it all looks the same. Hopefully that makes sense. So there you go, 3-legged on-time feeder, a lot of hardware cloth. We did some testing on the system, so we put a little extra corn on the ground. But I'm hoping the abundance of human scent will keep her out of here tonight. If not, it'll run out and she'll move on. Big pole, running a JagerPro ice camera and a backup battery system. And there you go. We got the Recon loaded down, got our yoga mats. Might do some yoga out here in a little bit, and we fixing to get out of here. So y'all hang on. So this is like part 400 of the video series of us putting the system in. We're up to, we've maxed out at 9 hogs. We still have a sow and 2 piglets that are hit and miss. We call them the wild card. We don't really know what they're up to. So over that direction, in other videos we talk about, we have a bait site. We've actually shut the bait site completely down. Took out a couple boars way that way on another JagerPro trap. So that trap's kind of clean and open now. That's what we call clean and open, man. Nobody's using it. This one here is getting hammered, but a lot of social issues. So today, we should not be here, but we are not ready to trap. They were in here early this morning. They're probably going to be pissed that I was in here, but I don't care at this point. So what we're going to do, we're going to put some corn on the ground. We're actually going to take a camera and put it at the very back of the trap, but outside. So we've got a camera watching the gate, and then we got a camera watching the back of the trap. We think more and more social issues are a big deal for hogs. You know, it's a lot of the focus is, you know, trap shy, and there is a lot of trap shy hogs due to the non-intelligent trapping that goes on, you know, around the country. But there are a lot of social issues. I personally feel if this trap was bigger, it's a 12-pounder JagerPro, it's single gate. They got no issues going in. They're good with the trap. They lay down in it. But crap breaks bad in there. And so, you know, I think if it was, my dream trap is 18 panels. And I think if it was an 18 panel system, we'd be cooking with gas. So trap modification today. Installing a camera on the outside towards the back. So we're seeing hogs on the back, like they're scared to come in because they're going to get their butt kicked. You know, kind of make a few adjustments here. So there she is. I mean, she's a fully functioning trap, and if we were looking at trapping 8, we could trap 8, but we know we've had 9 in there at one time, and we got a sow with 2 babies, a wild card that she comes and goes, and if we drop, we don't want to educate her. So we're trying to get her to come in, get that 9th one to come in, and then we flip the switch. So hottest time of the day, like 95 degrees, but it ain't going to matter today because we're going to scent this place up. And they probably won't come in tonight unless they've gotten used to a little bit of our human scent, which I do believe that happens. So hang on. So we made our adjustments to the trap. We get pretty technical about panel placement. So our panels are typically 12 to 18 inches away from the big pole. When we got on site here, our panels were almost touching the big pole. And there's been a lot of fighting going on, which means they're hitting them panels really hard because they're fighting that hard. So this rear camera, I'll show it to you in just here a second. It's going to kind of show you, what we're dealing with. Now, we got a lot of corn in the trap, massively overbaited, but we don't care. We are not actually trying to trap these hogs right now. We are just trying to help them get through their issues. And we're not sure if this is where this trap's going to end up. A lot of what we do when we get on our property is try to find that sweet spot for the trap. The original thought was about 100 yards that way. There's actually a transition in the wood line. This is a little clearer up here. It's a little thicker down there, but it's also closer to their bedroom, and you don't want to be in their bedroom. So we opted to put it here. I kind of think they just don't like the location. That's part of the issue, and then there's social issues. So once we remove this group, then we might, hey, let's just push it 100 yards that way. We'll be okay. And that's a lot of what we do, is just trying to find that spot for that trap. So a lot of corn on the ground. Don't recommend that if you're getting ready to trap hogs. You want that sense of urgency. We are not trying to trap these hogs. I hate to say it. I don't care if it takes us 2 months to trap these hogs. We are not reactive. We're being proactive. This whole process right now is trying to find the best spot for this trap on this side of the property. We got one on the other side. So a lot of human scent, sweating like 2 whites in church, wearing rubber boots, really don't matter. I mean, we're touching metal, we're doing everything. So let's show you what we got, and then we're gonna buzz out of here. So as you can see, we got a Jager-Pro Ice camera, tree mount. Talked about this before. Keep all your wires as far away from the tree as you can. Squirrels chew it. And what we're looking at is this angle right here, okay? Our panels, literally right there, were moved, massively moved. We've got our ice camera on the other side. We got our Jager-Pro Mind texting camera right there. And here you go. So this morning at daylight, there was a hog standing right outside there. We caught it with the ice camera. And our group of 7, 8 was inside the trap. We had 1 on the outside. Smaller hogs, so we think it's more of a social issue. 2 really big boars are coming in here. I mean, really big, like they ate their Wheaties growing up. So hopefully this saga will continue, and these little clips, and once we put it all together, once we drop on them, it'll make sense. I honestly think that you cannot have enough cameras. I just don't. I mean, we've put as many as 4 cameras around the system. We are trying to see what they're up to. I personally believe that you can't rely on 1 camera to trap a hog. I just don't think you can. And I'm not trying to sell a camera. I'm just simply saying that there is so much that goes on outside that trap that we don't know about. And when you watch every night or every morning or whatever, man, you want to learn this. Why is all that so important? Again, educating hogs. I mean, 4th smartest creature in the world. I say it all the time. And they're only getting smarter because of us humans. So hang on, and the saga continues. All right, it is a beautiful early morning here in South Georgia. Very tempting, like in our society, to alter the narrative, the story. And I started to fall into that trap this morning. We just dropped on a group several hours ago when it was dark. And when I teach karate, I put my phone on silent, and then I don't take my phone out onto the dojo floor. Probably the only time I don't have a phone near me, but I want to focus, on the kids and not be distracted with a phone. And long story short, I forgot to take my phone off silent. When I went to bed, the barber was helping me watch a camera. And this is a group, if you watch the full-length video, this is a group we've been working at for several months. And she flipped a switch on the group. She called repeatedly, and texted repeatedly, and I didn't answer. I got up, looked at my phone, routinely looking at phones with this business, and I was like, oh boy. So, that being said, it was very tempting to alter that narrative. That's why it's hard to watch anything on TV or read anything, because everything's just altered. And we want to keep it real. And I'm sorry, I'm looking at clearly these hogs were out in this little food plot last night because they hammered it. But I want to keep it real. And we said that when we started doing the videos. We want to keep it real for you guys out there. So here's the deal. I didn't hear my damn phone ring, and I'm out here in the daylight. And it's not ideal at all. We don't agree with dropping in, we didn't drop in the daytime, we dropped in the dark. And so I could alter that and come up with some plan, and we lost the footage, and and all that was going through my little squirrel cage. And I was like, man, you just like everybody else. And I would have to say that it was probably due to my father's influence. He was a big Neil Diamond guy, and put on my playlist. I finally figured out how to sync the phone to the truck. And Neil Diamond came on this morning, and it was America, and I was like, man, just don't fall into that routine. It's like my dad slapping me in the back of the head. I'm driving to a big ass water hole. We've had a lot of rain, man. Oh boy, there's a big hole there. Oh crap, hold on. And so what I'm trying to say is, we're going to do the best we can with this one. These are some big hogs. It's not going to be pretty at all. But we did not intentionally mean for it to turn out this way, but it's the way it's turned out. And so what we're going to do is we're going to own it. We're going to own the mistake, which was my mistake of not having my phone on, where it would ring, instead it was on a silent mode. So all I can say is hang on. We're fixing to park and get out, and we're going to start easing that way towards the trap, and cross our fingers that it goes smooth. Here we go. All right, we're right down here by the trap. Kind of came down there's a fire break behind me. And just kind of been easing down this fire break. But the trap's right up there. I'll show you some footage. It's going to be really hard to get to them. The gate is on the other side, so I'm going to have to ease down, using all these trees as cover. The wind is good. That's why I chose this route. So hang on. Trap is right there. So you can see the woods get a little thicker down here. So we're going to ease up this fire break. Try to work around to that gate side. Nothing about this, I think, is going to be pretty at all. I hate it, but I gotta own it. Hang on. All right, so see that one that's walking towards the panel? He's already busted me. He doesn't know for sure what I am. He just knows I ain't right. Them ears perk up, so he's curious. So, kind of, we're gonna keep easing around this gate side. Try to get over to that gate. 12-pound Jaeger Pro, 3-leg on-time feeder. We're actually running a live video on this one. And ice camera on the front, ice camera on the back. See his head pop up as soon as he sees me move. Nose is up, trying to catch the scent. And he may be our problem child. So hang on. Okay. A little bit better view now. Probably going to be him. It's not always the boar that's the problem child. It could be a sow, but it kind of acts like he's the one that's in charge. It's amazing when you watch hogs for months. Literally, this has been months. There's one right there that's got like little whites on his legs. How many hours we've watched that hog. Anyway, that's him right there coming to the gate. But see that guy right there? Keeps shoving his nose up. Yeah. He's probably not our friend. All right, so I'm gonna keep working around these trees. I mean, they know I'm here. They just don't really know what to do just yet. But I walked probably a half a mile coming in, no joke. We did everything we normally do. Just sneaked in, didn't run a thermal. Had a Bolt 44, just grounded it, and I'm gonna switch off and go to the 22. Hang on. All right, I tried to get a little closer, which I am closer, but man, they got ignorant. So it's a floppy-eared guy. So anyway, we'll give you a video when it's over, and kind of go from there. Yeah, watched him a lot of times. That's that one with the lower white. There's our big boy right there. He's right. Come on now. Right there. That's the problem child. Decent sized cutters. Always had big floppy ears. If you look at their tails, we talk about this in other videos. If their tails are curled, they're stressed. Clearly they're stressed now. But when you're getting ready to drop a gate, if a hog's got his tail curled, I would never flip the switch. If they're relaxed, that tail's just hanging down and everybody's happy. All right, we're gonna get to it. Hang on. All right, we got a little closer. We're working these trees. That's why we like trees. Hey, fellas. There's big boy. Oh, God, that was a bad idea. There we go. Can you imagine if we drove up how stupid it would be? All right, it's time to fix our mess. Alrighty, they went down. It's, we say it all the time, it's so much harder in the daytime. Even with how we do it, sneaking in and, working around the trees and, and you got to be strategic about your shots, even in the daytime, just like you do the nighttime, not trying to keep them amped up. The big floppy-eared boar, clearly he was the king of the pile. It's really interesting when you take like him out and then you'll see the next boar who, let's say he's on his way down, the next boar will just start attacking him. I mean, it's just like crazy. Like there's just literally no love. They might get along for a little bit. Maybe it's like real families. They don't really get along. It just appears that everybody gets along and y'all drive home from your family reunion, raising hell about your brother, your cousin, or whoever. Maybe that's how it is for hogs. They're just a little bit more violent. But yeah, so they're down. This group started off like with 7. It was 8. It went to 10. It dropped back down to 8. We had a couple what we call floaters that were just hit and miss. Just like, once in a while they would come in. We were getting down to, we had to do something. I guess that's just the best way to put it, is, we've got some food plots way back that direction. Clearly they hit those last night. And, you know, we were like, well, we'll just keep waiting them out. And had these discussions with the landowner and said, hey, you know, what do you think? You know, it's what we pay you for. You figure it out, whatever. We had decided to go ahead, you know, if we could get that 9, to take that 9. Simply because, here's the big key, and you'll see it in other videos, deer season's coming on us. Literally in, I don't know, probably a month. Guys, deer hunters, girls, whatever, are throwing corn out already. So back that direction, that landowner actually is working with us. We're like, stop feeding the deer for a little bit. Let us work this out. Because some of these hogs are his hogs. And that's generally what we tell people, is that if you're trapping, you're going to be trapping your neighbor's hogs, unless you got a big track. I mean, a big track. But, you know, this is 1,200 acres. We're trapping neighbors' hogs all the time because they're just a migratory little animal. So I'm gonna buzz you around, show you what we got. We're really fortunate today that it's a good overcast. It is high humidity today. Zeb and I were out working yesterday, moved the trap, pulled the trap. We were spent. I mean, just shirts, pants, everything just soaked. And we had a big overcast, but having a lot of rain showers coming in and out. So I'm your meteorologist today. Here we go. All right, so we've got a little boar and big boy. And when we talk about cutters, for you that get into that kind of thing, he's got some cutters. Definitely got some cutters. Soon to be sow, which she kind of looks like she's already on her way to be a sow, meaning she's probably pregnant. And then over here, we've got another soon to be sow. I can guarantee you that one right there is pregnant. So you got another sow. And then you got another sow. This one's pregnant. And then you've got another little boar. And then you've got this little boar I was talking about earlier with the white patches. And big boy here. He's grown. Not nearly as big as cutters, but he was number 2. Just to kind of help you understand that. So the one that's right underneath the feeder was the floppy-eared one. We took him first. We went for that one second, and then we went for this one third. When this one started to go down, that one there just started hammering him. It's crazy the way they do that. So you kind of get to see the trap. We've done a lot of footage. I think we're going to do a full-length video start to finish on the system here. So what we're running is 12-panel Jagger Pro. We got a live video. You'll see back here. This was a late edition, but we had a lot of issues that we weren't seeing back up underneath here. So we put an ice camera up there. And then we got an ice camera on the outside. And it's worked out well. The hogs are actually coming from the neighbor's property. Big swamp down there. We do have permission to be on that property. We put a scouting camera down there, probably, I don't know, 1,000 yards, and that's where they're at. But they come up here because, so why do they come up here? Our landowner does feed deer, but he does wrap his feeders. So that's the key, right? You got to wrap them feeders, keep them hogs off of. It's not going to keep them off your property. It just keeps them off your feeders. And then we strategically, place this, in here. Crop fields that direction. So it all works. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead. I am running solo due to the fact that I was running late with the whole silence on the phone thing. Zeb is got to go get corn this morning, and Wyatt is trying to finish up on his trailer. He goes back to school tomorrow, which is Friday. So I'm running solo, not a big deal. I got some sleep last night. We're gonna line them up, do a good picture for our landowner. We're gonna go ahead and do maintenance on the system. We've got maintenance on this whole property because we run a trap that way, another trap, and we got a bait site. We've got camera way down there that we got to do maintenance on. Maintenance, that's the key. And then on that end of the county, we're going to head up that direction and do all of our stuff up there on a completely different property. So we're probably not completely done with the video yet. Once we get them lined up, we'll shoot you some footage. Hopefully you guys are, getting something out of it. It kind of helps to understand, the work and effort that goes into this. A lot of phone calls we get, emails. This is not a profitable business. It's not. It just isn't. Is it an enjoyable business? Not that part. But all of this part, the strategy, the planning, the scouting, the trying to figure out the hogs, love that part of it. Problem solving out here in the field when something breaks and won't work. But the way that we do it, there's a lot of effort goes into this. It's a time consuming, watching cameras. Whatever's out there in TV land of just, oh, look, hogs, flip the switch. Maybe it's that simple. I don't know. We just don't see it that way. But we've been on some properties for 6-7 years now. So I think we're doing something right. You will never get rid of the hogs. All you're going to do is just kind of control how many you have. And that's the thing you got to digest. When we interview people about us wanting to work for them, and it is an interview process for us, if they think that we're magicians or we're going to obliterate all hogs off their property, generally ain't going to happen. They're a migratory beast. And it's just hard. All you can do is reduce the numbers. If you look at all these soon-to-be sows and pregnant sows, this would have been a really big group. Since January 31st, we've lost track now. But on this little 1,200-acre tract, we've taken over 100 plus hogs. We don't know what the deal is. Last year it wasn't that bad, but this year it is. So I'll shut up and line these puppies up and walk back to get the Tacoma, and we'll go from there. All right, we got them lined up. That's the beauty of a small four-wheeler, a little Honda Recon 250. Wish it was four-wheel drive, but we got a winch on the front. Winch, strap. Hogs get that big, man, don't manhandle them. It just ain't worth it. It really isn't. Talking to a guy who had double hernia surgery from picking up a hog. Winch on that trailer right there. I mean, winches, straps, pulleys, whatever, come alongs. So I'm gonna buzz you around, show you what we got. It turned out to be a beautiful day here in South Georgia. It didn't work out like we wanted it to, but anyway, it is what it is. All right, so we got them lined up. The best I could line them up. Them three big boys in the back, man. It was tough with them. But anyway, so yeah, what's odd is that, clearly that this guy right here, this fella right here is the biggest one. But he was the Mac Daddy. He ran the show. He didn't really run the show. So it's kind of weird. Size doesn't matter sometimes when it comes to these bigger hogs. It's just attitude, demeanor, scrappy, like to fight. But anyway, so we got them all lined up. Take a picture of our landowner. We're going to start cleaning up, do our maintenance. And then we got to start, keep on. So as I always say, I sincerely hope y'all enjoyed the video. It takes a little extra time for us to clip all this junk together, kind of show you how it's done. Our hope is that people will watch the videos and they'll actually learn and try to trap intelligently if they can. If we can do it running 24 systems, I think is what we got up right now. Might be 22. We just pulled a couple. If we can do it with that many, I'm pretty confident a lot of people could do it with just one. I really do. And just these cameras are the key. Going back over what we've seen here, the one thing that we figured out with this trap right away is the gate should have been on that end, just by their behavior. We figured that out. And it's not uncommon for us to swap a gate. But I was like, well, maybe they'll digest the gate over there. They did, but they really wanted that gate to be over there. And, you can run double gates, and we do run double gates. But generally, they're going to pick a gate, and that's the gate they like. For whatever reason, they wanted to come in on that side. We don't know why. And, accommodate their needs. Swap the gate. Just move it over there. Pop a panel. It takes like 10 minutes. We didn't do it because we didn't want to disrupt them. So I'm glad we didn't change the narrative. We kept true to ourselves. Very tempting, a lot of temptation. And every job you're in, there's temptations or temptation in the world. We kept the narrative real. which is what we want. And we're pretty proud of the fact that we're not sponsored, we're not endorsed. Nobody's paying us to say anything. We just letting it rip and let it ride. And, you know, hopefully you guys are picking something up out of it. And with that being said, I've got like 23 bags of corn, I think, on that truck and trailer. I got a long day ahead of me, a lot of batteries in the seat, a lot of maintenance, and still got to deal with this mess right here. So with that being said, seems like a good day to say it. Spread the love, not the hate. That's the big thing, man. A lot of hate out there in the world. Don't like it. I guess that's why I'd rather be out here in the middle of 1,200 acres, all by myself, listening to a little music and taking care of an invasive species. Y'all have a great day.